Tishka. How are you? I hope that you are doing amazing. Thank you so much for ordering this reading from me. Oh my goodness. I had so much fun drawing these cards up for you, and I can't wait to go over all of the different energies and messages that we have going on here. Woohoo! Let's kind of start celebrating now, right? Because I feel like at the beginning of this spread, it's a little bit heavier energy. It's a little bit, I don't want to say you're a little bit indecisive, but I feel like there's something going on right now, or there has been previously, that maybe you've had to make a decision on, or maybe something's really been weighing you down for a little bit, because this is a little bit heavier energies. This is something that will lighten up towards the end, though. This is something that is going to dissipate, but I feel like maybe there's just kind of like a little bit of an inner struggle right now, that you're really trying to overcome, but we'll get more into that later on when we get into the cards, and then we can kind of see what's going on here. But overall, honestly, this is a really awesome reading. I feel like I was saying, at the end, it all comes around. I feel like all of the hardships, all of the anxiety as well, is all lessons learned. It's all something that you're going to grow from, and you're going to really find your confidence this year. Oh my goodness. Also, I just feel like throwing this out there, the month October kept coming into my head. Now, I don't know if there's something major that's going to be happening in October for you. I don't know if you know someone whose birthday is in October, or if your birthday is in October. But that's really the energy that I got, is that something is going to be happening in October. But I don't want to be like, but don't think about it, because it's like, wow, what a tease, darling D, telling me that something's going to happen and then saying don't think about it. But I think that your guides are really giving you that time limit and saying October, so that you can kind of not necessarily put an expectation about it, but so that you can sort of focus your direction and know what it is that you want to achieve, know what it is that you really want to go towards, and what it is that you want to accomplish as well. Because like I was saying, there is a little bit of an indecisive energy here. There is a little bit of like, what should I be doing? What should I be focusing towards? And I think it has to do with both career and relationship. But like I said, we'll get into that more in a second. So like I was saying, it is quite a large spread. I wanted to pull you some more cards for being so patient and lovely. Oh my goodness, I really appreciate it. And I also ended up, I normally don't do this, but I did a little bit of numerology for you with your name. And I also just pulled some regular messages, channeled some messages while I was shuffling and while I was getting the deck in order. So right off the bat, your first name represents the number 5, because we get the number 23 when we add up all of the numbers. And this is someone who's very creative. It's someone who's very imaginative. You are a healer as well, which is also confirmed again with the rattlesnake energy that's going to be coming up in the future. We'll go over that at a later date. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but you're definitely someone who has a healing touch. You're someone who other people really gravitate towards. You're someone who maybe people can even kind of take your kindness, not necessarily for granted, maybe for granted, but I feel like they can kind of use that against you. I don't know why, but the Britney Spears song where it's like, if I said I want your body now, would you hold it against me? Maybe you get a lot of fuckboys. Maybe that's the kind of energy that you're so compassionate, you're so open to people sort of coming into your life that you kind of get people who are a lot more passionate as opposed to very stable, committed energy. I don't know why. We'll keep going. But continuing on, you are someone who has had a lot of change in your life, because number 5 is change. Especially someone who has a life path of number 5. But I feel like overall, both of your names added up is the number 6. This is someone who's very abundant, someone who has a lot of inner knowledge, a lot of inner wisdom as well. You are very wise, but you're also very generous. Now, this isn't just having to be generosity with your money. This can also be being generous with your wisdom. This is being generous with other people, with saying, hey, this is my opinion, this is my thoughts on this, and, people really appreciate that about you. You're also someone who doesn't mind, I think, volunteering, or at least, like, helping people. I think that if your friend was planning a move, to a new house, you're the type of friend who would be like, yeah, I'll help you move, as long as you buy pizza, I'm fine. Is that sort of an energy of like, you are very much open to having that reciprocity and that 50-50 relationship, but you're also someone who will give more than they take, just because you don't want to have that exchange where you're the one that's taking more than the other person. You are someone who is very, giving, someone who Because you are abundant, you know, and especially if it's something that hasn't necessarily happened yet, I feel like it's something that's going to happen in the future, because we have the 10 and the 9 of Pentacles at the end, both in the upright, right? Woohoo! You know, and I feel like at the beginning of the reading, we do have the 10 of Pentacles in the reverse. So it's almost like we're coming out of a place of lack, maybe a place of blockages at times as well, and knowing that we can achieve this towards the end in the near future. But with the number 1 being for your last name, you know, this is someone who is very open to newness as well with the change, you know, right? It's very much kind of that same vibe. It very much complements each other very beautifully, right? But this is also someone who's very open-minded, someone who has a very open heart as well. You are a leader. You have that sort of fool energy is what I wrote. And I don't necessarily mean like foolish energy, but I mean like the fool from the tarot decks. You know, you're someone who can go after your goals. You can go after your dreams, your accomplishments, you know, the things that you really want to achieve, and you can go towards it with a very childlike innocence, with a very uplifting energy. You're someone who kind of starts at the beginning and then goes forward, you know, and I feel like you'll be like, but darling D, everyone does that. No, some people will start in like the literal middle of like any kind of endeavor sometimes, and then they'll just go from there. They'll wing it, right? But you're someone with the number 1. You started out at the very beginning. You're someone who is very knowledgeable. You're someone who's very well read. You are someone who puts the time and the effort in, especially when learning a new hobby, or when learning a new what is that called? Like, I don't want to say like lesson, but like maybe even like a university course, right? You're someone who can pick on very easily to like, I guess, schooling. I guess would be the best way to put it. You know, we could both see why I chose the career of metaphysical and not teaching, right? But honestly, you know, you're someone who definitely, you take the time to study, you take the time to look into things, and you take the time to really, you know, those miners, and they just kind of chip away at things. You're that energy, you know, you're meticulous, you're go with the flow. At times you're a little bit too analytical, which I feel like sometimes it can give you a little bit of a headache. Sometimes you can make yourself very, very anxious, which I totally understand. You know, I think that is kind of like that empath energy, especially where you're kind of absorbing other people's energies, you're taking away their negative energies, and you're keeping it for yourself, you know, regardless of if you're aware of it or not, because there is an energy exchange, you know. It's almost like when you you know, you're offering someone your cup of water and then they drink it all and they leave you with like this much on a hot day, you know, and it's like you're out at a parade together. So you don't want to be a jerk. You don't want to be like, hey, stop drinking all my water. I need some water too. I'm going to have a dehydration fit, right? You know, and they're just like, they're guzzling down this water, right? They're guzzling down this water on this hot parade day. And you're just watching them and you're just smiling. You're like, this is okay. This is fine. This is all right. And this person, they hand you back your water and you're just kind of staring at it and you drink it and they smile and they're like, thank you. I feel really good. And you're like, wow, me too. Thanks. You know, and it's not necessarily that you're lying to lie. It's just that you, at times or even in the past, you've been a little bit of a people pleaser, right? But I feel like now is your time to shine. Now is your time to really take the bull by the horns and you to be that person. Like, I'm not saying to go on the parade day and like be drinking everyone else's water. But what I am saying is like, if someone is taking more than they're giving you, stand up for yourself and be like, hey, that's not cool. You know, that's not something that I'm going to deal with. That's not something that I'm going to even humor, I suppose you can say, because we do have the Strength card over here, and this is one of my favorite cards in the Ludi Lescott deck, because this is like saying, hey, I'm the real beast, right? Like, you've been so worried about the lion in the background, but you didn't even expect that it was me the whole time, right? This is very much that energy. Make sure that you're very much being in your confident energy, self-love, self-care, you know, rejoice in the fact that you are so courageous. You are a lot braver than you give yourself credit for, because I feel like 5s as well, you know, I'm someone who was born on a 5th, you know, of the month, so I can definitely kind of groove with that energy as well. 5s can definitely be a lot harder on themselves than they should be, and that's the shame of it, you know, especially when there's other people around, because we can tend to be a little bit of people pleasers. So, you know, we don't want people to hurt, we don't want people to feel bad, but there does also have to be a day day where we say to people, hey, you know, enough is enough. I have to take care of myself as well. And if you're constantly overstepping my boundaries, that's not going to work here. You know, if you want to see a beast, I'll show you a beast. You know, it's that sort of a vibe, right? You know how in Beauty and the Beast, where it was like Beast was there the whole time and he's trying to intimidate Belle, and she's just like, no, you're gonna sit down and you're gonna eat that soup. And he's just like, whoa, I'm sorry. You know, it's that sort of a vibe, right? You know, it's definitely that vibe. It's kind of like, don't be coming at me with that beast vibe, because I'm more of a beast than you are. And he's just in the back sipping his tea like, oh my gosh. Oh, wow. You know, he's like terrified. But that's sort of the energy that we have here, is that you are someone who is very fierce. You are someone who definitely needs to stand up for yourself more. You're definitely someone who has that leadership energy. And let me just tell you, you know, you have a lot of cat energy here as well. You know, so that's very much that sort of self-sufficient energy that your guides really want you to bring in. They want you to have that. Why? Because underneath the snow leopard, we have dog. And it says, your loyalty and faithfulness is misplaced by serving too many masters. Remember how I was saying about people who are going to take your kindness for themselves, who are going to take advantage of that? That's why now is the time for emotional healing, right? Now is the time for that. This isn't even in your reading, but it's like, this was at the bottom of the deck, and I felt so compelled to reach over and pull, and look what we got, honestly. But you know, this is very intuitive energy as well. So make sure that you're focusing on your intuition. Make sure that you're focusing on the things that you really want to accomplish, on the things that you really want to transmutate, and the things that you really want to bring into existence and into fruition, you know? Take the time out of your usual schedule and life and spend it in solitude. You know, you don't have to have your schedule booked up all the time, right? You don't have to be busy. You don't have to even go and hang out with people. You know, you can take the day and say, hey, it's okay, Tyler, I'm not going to hang out with you today because I am working on myself. You know, maybe I'm going to be watching The Bachelor all day. Hey, that's fine, you know. Make cookies, get snacks, and watch The Bachelor all day. You know, that's good, you know, as long as you are kind of focusing on yourself and not focusing on heartbreak, on heartache, on anything that's kind of low vibrational energies as well. Now, let me tell you, you know, the reason why we have the Three of Swords here as well is like, in the near future, I'm going to bring this baby out. Bad bay. This bad bay is going to come back out soon. In the near future, because this is distant future energies that I was drawing for. So this is saying that, you know, while you have had heartbreak in the past, you are someone who has learned from it. Make sure that all of the heartbreak and the heartache that you have experienced from maybe a bad bay, right? You know, maybe they are going to be something that really helps you grow, be something that really helps you to learn a different aspect of yourself, right? Maybe it kind of brings out not necessarily a ruthlessness in you, but it brings out a much more truthful side of you. It brings out a much more I get straightforward side is really what I'm hearing in my head, right? But with the Three of Swords, this is also lessons. This is like, you know, every aspect, every point of our life. This is also the mind, the body, and the spirit finally coming together, right? We're finally paying attention to every aspect of ourselves. Maybe in a relationship as well, we were only paying attention to our heart, and that led us to kind of ignore a few red flags, right? But now going forward, we will kind of utilize every aspect of ourselves, right? We will utilize every last aspect of ourselves going forward. And that is so awesome. Oh my goodness. So continuing on, I also wanted to say, you know your worth. You can accomplish anything. That is something that kept screaming out in my ear. I feel like at times you kind of, are a little bit too hard on yourself. I know that I was going into that a little bit with the 5 energy as well, but this is really saying, like, make sure that you are in that positive, uplifting space about yourself. Make sure that you're feeling really good about yourself, because you are all that in a bag of chips, you know? That's really the energy that I'm feeling. You know, you are someone who is very faithful. You are someone who is very loyal, someone who is very committed. But sometimes people who are like that, me included, you know, I tend to have in the past put my love into people and into situations that probably I would have been better off not doing. But, you know, from these situations you learn and you say, hey, you know, I'll make sure that I don't do that again in the future. You know, I'll make sure that I'm still giving out love. I'm still sharing my love with other people. I'm still sharing my love with the world, but I'm also not going to give so much that I forsake myself. That is the best way to put it. There we go. You know, it's kind of like lesson learned, lesson received the right way that it was supposed to, and the universe doesn't have to give you it again, right? Because there is a little bit of an awakening here. Oh my goodness, at the bottom of the deck, the one that didn't come out was authenticity, number 5. Are you kidding? Can't make this stuff up, honestly. But like I was saying, you are someone who's very wise. You're someone who has a little bit of like that caring, nurturing touch as well. Maybe at times you're a little bit of a mom friend. But going forward, especially with the new moon having been on the 5th of April, this is really saying that now is the time to really plant the seeds of growth. And I love how it's been snowing and blizzarding, because it's really saying that now is the time for renewal. Now is the time for you to start over fresh, right? Because after the snow, everything can grow again. Everything can bloom again, right? So make sure that you're being very much independent as well, because we do have that cat energy, and cats are very independent. Cats can definitely stand on their own 2 feet. They're not like dogs in the sense that, you know, cats can kind of live on their own for like eons, right? And dogs are a little bit more domesticated, I would say. You know, so make sure that you're really going into that unique vibe about yourself, because you are someone who's very unique. You're someone who's very talented. You're someone who's very creative as well, very imaginative. Oh my goodness. You know, so make sure that you're really letting yourself bloom. You're letting yourself be recognized and be acknowledged as well. With this number 1 card, which is interesting because we have both of your numbers, a 5 and a 1, which is your first name and your last name. Isn't that interesting? Oh my goodness. But with number 1, this is really saying, hey, you know, you're going to have a new beginning here. You're going to have newness, you know? Everything's going to feel almost fresh, like you're wiping the slate clean and you're continuing forward, you know, communing, attraction, beginning, all of this fresh start, right? And I also feel like you're going to be meeting new people, especially this year. You know, you're going to have a lot more community. You're going to have a lot more people that are really kind of in your corner, so to speak, I suppose you can say, which is really going to be awesome. It's going to be very uplifting for you as well. But remember how I was saying, you know, with this kind of energy, be the alchemist, create life off of intention. That's where this next card comes in, which is actually another 1, which is really interesting, you know? So this is really saying, make sure that you're in that alchemist energy, which is the magician. This is someone who can, you know, it's kind of like creating, you know, wine into water, you know, or water into wine, or vice versa. You know, this is someone who can create gold out of rocks. This is someone who can take a chunk of coal, right? And they can, and then it's gold, and then it's a diamond. It's whatever they put into it. It's an emerald. It's an opal. It's this. It's that. It's anything that they feel like they can accomplish. You know, it's not even confining to the norms of saying, well, I have a lump of coal, so I'm going to just turn it into a diamond. This is saying, no, you know, I'm going to create something that I want. I'm going to create something that's ideal for me. Because do you see how lush his castle is? Do you see how, you know, colorful it is as well? This is just something that he's created off of his intention. This is just something that he's created kind of off of his affirmations, off of his law of attraction as well. So make sure that you are someone who is working with that. But with the magician energy, this is saying that now is the time to recreate yourself. You know, with the number 5 being changed, you know, you are someone who maybe you enjoy changing yourself now and again. You know, you like kind of reinventing yourself. So with this magician energy, it's saying it's never too late to reinvent yourself. It's never too late to go forward. It's never late to start something new, you know, because he can create anything in his life. Especially with the Lovers being next, with it being number 6. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Oh my gosh. But honestly, let's see what the card underneath is. The 2 of Wands, decision making. Yeah. So there might be a little bit of a decision, especially maybe even in regards to love. Now, it doesn't have to, but here's the deal. Here's the vibe that I get with the Lovers card. You know, this is saying you are going to be very abundant in love. You're going to be abundant in a lot of happiness as well. But with the Lovers card, this is also saying that she's been daydreaming daydreaming about this for a while. She's been planting the seeds of intention a lot like the magician, right? But this is also like she's deciding, hey, I've wanted this for so long. Is this something that I still want? She is still reevaluating it, right? She is never kind of, I don't want to say she's never satisfied, because I think that she's going to be, but it's just kind of like she's thinking, do I want to go on tour with Jeremy over here, right? Right? Because it's a lot of work. They have to stay physically fit. They have to go through vocal training. They have to go through all of this so they can continue on Broadway together, right? And she's kind of like, wow, I really love Jeremy, but I really don't like all of the work that I have to do to be with Jeremy. And this is your guide saying, hey, it's completely fine to drop that and be like, well, okay, I'm moving on to the next thing. I'm moving on to something else that kind of does fit me better, right? Something that I'm not going to feel exhausted when I try to pursue it. Something that's not going to leave me just physically, emotionally, and mentally exhausted, right? Spread your wings. Allow yourself to take flight. Allow yourself to soar. Allow yourself to get into that beast mode, right? Allow yourself to get into that energy of like, I'm the real beast. I'm the one that you should be worried about. You know, very straightforward energy as well. I know I keep saying that, but honestly, that's really, really the vibe that I'm getting, especially with all of these big cats. This is leadership energy. This is coming forward and saying, hey, I'm not dealing with anything. I'm not dealing with any of this either. You know, if you're going to bring drama to me, I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm not going to let it break me. I'm not going to let it break my heart as well. I'm going to handle the drama very maturely, and I might cut you out of my life if you kind of bring that to me, because I'm someone who doesn't want to deal with that. Let's see what's at the other side. We have the Two of Pentacles. I actually don't read this deck in reversals. Almost every other deck that I own, I read in reverse, except for this and also my Animal Totem cards and also my Oracle cards for some reason. But honestly, you know, with the Two of Pentacles, this is saying I want balance. I want stability. And with it being, if we were to read it in the reverse, this is saying I don't want to juggle anymore. I don't want to have to deal with it. You know, look at the Tower. Oh my gosh. You know, yeah. Tower energy. This is saying, hey, I don't want to deal with it anymore. I don't want to have to deal with the drama. I don't want, yep. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Nine of Swords. I don't want to have to deal with the headache. I don't want to have to deal with the heartbreak. I don't want to have to deal with the juggling. I don't want to have to deal with any of it. So you're building a stronger new foundation right now, which I think is so awesome. Oh my goodness. So make sure that you're really going towards what you want in this new beginning and when building this new foundation as well. I also feel like with you being very analytical, you might be someone who can get very overwhelmed at times. So make sure that you write a list and then go from there. You know, that you're kind of handling it one step at a time is really kind of my best advice going forward. You know, if you're someone who, especially maybe if you want to write books, if you have a really cool fantasy idea also for maybe a series, do that kind of spider web technique where you write a main plot in the middle and then you go out from there. Because I feel like overthinkers especially could be the best authors because we can come up with like 50 different scenarios for one conversation, right? It's kind of like, oh, well, if I say this, they could react this, or this way. But then if I react to their reaction, it could go this, or this way. So I really feel like you're someone who is very creative. You're someone who could definitely captivate audiences is really what I'm hearing as well. So if that's something that you wanted to pursue, I'm hearing go for it. You know, this is not even just having to write books. This is also blogging. This is vlogging. This is maybe travel blogging. Maybe you're someone who is a little bit of a foodie, right? But whatever it is that you really want to go towards, I'm hearing sky's the limit, especially with this ladybug energy coming through in the next row. We're going to get to that in a second, but ladybugs are good fortune, they're abundance, you know, it's everything kind of coming to fruition, your wish is coming true, you know, so that's an awesome energy. So starting off with your first 5 cards, these are your angel therapy cards, and these are kind of going over different words of wisdom and also words of advice from your spirit guides and archangels. So we have the Ascended Masters card, followed by books, crystals, Archangel Michael, and the Goddess card. Okay, so here's the deal. You know, I feel like a lot of my clients have been getting the Ascended Masters card, right? And I love when you guys get this card because this talks about that you are very protected, that you are someone who is divinely guided during this time as well, especially when it comes to starting anew. This is also a really, really good card about starting fresh, going forward without kind of having the ego attached to you, going forward towards something that's more divine, going towards something that is more fitting towards you as well. Really kind of get connected to your higher self when you feel in times of need, when you feel in times of being kind of down as well. Go towards your higher self, really kind of go into that meditation and really try to be uplifted as well. But you have a lot of deities, a lot of gods and goddesses as well that are really looking after you, and they want you to shine. Oh my goodness. They really, really want you to kind of take part in your own self-healing, in your own I want to say meditation, but I feel like saying meditation is almost like a dentist being like, but did you floss today, right? But make sure that you are staying very aligned with yourself and aligning your chakras as well. But going down, it says, powerful, loving, and wise spiritual teachers are watching over and guiding you. And you know why this is? It's because you are also a powerful, loving, and wise spiritual teacher. Now, maybe not on like this level, but I feel like in this lifetime, you are someone who is a light worker. You are someone who has come to this sort of realm, I suppose you can say, for a reason. It's to uplift a lot of people. It's to open a lot of people's minds up as well, with your creativity, with your outlook on life, with the way that you shine as well, and with the way that you kind of I just want to say, just with your outlook, with the way that you see things, you look at things so differently from other people, and I think that is so, so beautiful. You work very, very hard as well. So I feel like now is the time to sort of be reaping the rewards, and that's why you're being guided to be doing things. Maybe you might even be guided to go to workshops or seminars. Maybe you might even be guarded. You are guarded, but maybe you might even be guided to go to different events. I also want to say on that same note that if you feel a really icky feeling about going somewhere, if you're kind of like, I don't really know about going to this one place, it is completely okay to take the night off. Really listen to your intuition, especially when it comes to this Ascended Masters card, because it might be a message from a higher up saying, hey, maybe you should sit this one out. Maybe there's something that's going to be going on that isn't going to be so good for you. That's sort of an energy, maybe if you are late to a party, it'll be good because maybe you avoided a car crash. It's that sort of an energy. You know what I'm saying? It's that sort of a vibe. So make sure that you're trusting your intuition, you're trusting your gut. If something's saying, don't go down that alleyway, don't be going down any alleyways, right? But really make sure that you're trusting your intuition, because you are someone who's very spiritual. You are someone who is divinely guided as well. But moving on, we have books. And this is what I was talking about. Oh my goodness. I love, love, love this card, because this only comes out for like really creative people who really want to, explore that, as well. And what I mean by that is, like, we all have creativity, but I feel like only so many of us have stories that we really feel compelled to share with others. You know what I mean? Like, everyone has stories, but there's only, I feel like a select few out of like bajillions of people, not bajillions, you know what I mean, that really are like, hey, I want to really pursue this. I want to uplift people. Because an author's journey is very humble. It's something that is very, I don't want to necessarily refer to it as volunteer work, because, but I do, because I see it as something that's very important. I think that there's nothing in this world as important as books. And I know that sounds absolutely strange, right? But I really, really do. It's something that will still be around for many, many generations. It's almost like leaving a print. Right. It's your own handprint on the world, and you're putting it out there for many generations after you to still enjoy it, to still pick up information, to still be inspired as well. And that's what I was trying to get at. Yes. There's only a select few people who really feel compelled to do that, to leave their mark on the world in such a way. Even though everyone has the capability of doing that, there's only a few people that are really going to express their love of knowledge, that are going to express their love of literature as well. Maybe you're someone who's very well read. I know I had mentioned earlier that you're someone who's very well educated. You're someone who studies very good. You're someone who is very, very dedicated. but with this book card, you're someone who can also tell a very, very good story. You're someone who can definitely keep people enthralled. You can keep people kind of on the edge of their seat, I suppose you can say. Now, this doesn't just have to be like a fantasy book or a romance novel, although it could. But I really do feel like, maybe you're going to have like cookbooks, maybe even, I think that you're someone who helps other people. So it could be spiritually based books. It could be like law of attraction books. It could also just be maybe even just telling your story, telling all what's gone on in your life, telling all that you've kind of grown from, all that you've learned as well. Just something that's really going to uplift others. I also feel like, if you go towards a really awesome sort of a travel setting, if you go towards kind of blogging as well, I think that you're going to have a really awesome fan base. Oh my goodness, I'd read anything you put out. But honestly, this is an awesome card because it says your life purpose involves writing, reading, editing, or selling spiritually based books. So you might even be a reviewer. Maybe you're someone who wants to be kind of a reviewer on YouTube. Maybe you're someone who, that's how you kind of get a foot in the door, is you start by reviewing and then you really kind of take off from there. Because I feel like maybe books are a really big part of your life. Maybe you're someone who really enjoys reading. You're someone who might also really love like Audible, kind of audiobooks, that sort of a vibe as well. Maybe while you're kind of doing errands or anything along those lines, maybe you really love to be in the middle of a book. Maybe it also got you through some kind of hard times through health as well, because I see books as a way for us to escape, as a way for us to also experience things that maybe we might not have thought that we could experience as well before. But honestly, you are someone who is very, very creative and someone who I feel like maybe even someone in your family got you started on the books really good. Or maybe someone just kind of inspires you to kind of put out a story out there. Maybe you're someone who might even share a story, like a medical story about someone in your family. I don't know. But I definitely feel like you're going to be called to write at some point in your life, or review. I'm feeling more like writing. I feel like you're going to be an author. You're going to kind of work maybe with a publishing house or maybe through Amazon or something along those lines. But that's really going to be awesome, and it's going to be an awesome way to leave your fingerprint on society, and it's going to be a really awesome way to express yourself as well. I feel like when you're having a bad day, not only turning to books to read books, but also kind of sitting down with a pen and paper and being able to journal, being able to write down all of your thoughts is really going to help you. It's also going to help you kind of go towards the right direction, go towards what it is that you really want to achieve. So moving on to these next three cards, we have crystals. It says, the energy of crystals supports you and helps with your present situation. Oh my goodness, this is an awesome, awesome card because this is saying that if you aren't someone who already has a lot of crystals, see this as your excuse to buy some. That's really the energy that's going on here. You're someone who's very intuitive, like I was saying, and that's only going to be enhanced by the crystals. I feel like clear quartz, opalite, and also rose quartz will be really, really beneficial to you, but seeing as you have a lot of kind of big cat energy and a lot of that really straightforward, very confident energy that has to start coming out soon, I also feel like carnelian would be a really, really awesome crystal for you. It is this really beautiful orange one. And with the orange energy, we do have a lot of orange here, which is really interesting because this is kind of saying, now is the time for action. Now is the time to sort of start planting the seeds for it to grow, and that way we can harvest it in a while, right? But with crystals, I also feel like, if you're someone who wants to maybe gain insight in your dreams, get a piece of amethyst as well and put it under your pillow. Now, you can also take your carnelian and put it in your purse. You can put it in your pocket, in your bra. Some people put their crystals in their bras. So I think it is completely up to you. But I definitely feel like crystals are really, really going to help kind of amplify your power and really help you to kind of put your intention out there as well. Moving forward, we also have Archangel Michael. So I love how we have Ascended Masters, and also Archangel Michael, because this is very, very potent energy. Oh my goodness. Honestly, you couldn't get any better, right? I feel like this is like the ultimate kind of energy, right? this is like ultimate protection, ultimate safety, ultimate happiness as well, because Archangel Michael, he has this sword here. He cuts through drama. He cuts through all of the ridiculousness. And remember how earlier I was saying that, you know, going forward in the future, you'll be able to cut out all the drama. You'll be able to cut all that away and be able to see the sun. You'll be able to cut away all of the storm clouds as well. That's what Archangel Michael pretty much does, right? He comes forward and he cuts your cords. He cuts any kind of negative energy as well that you might have put out into the universe. Knowing or unknowing as well. So he is a very, very awesome energy to be working with. But it says you're working very closely with this powerful archangel who's protecting and guiding you through the situation. So if you feel doubtful at all, you know, call on Archangel Michael. This is a very, very potent energy. Oh my goodness, I can't stress this enough. Archangel Michael will always be there the immediate second that you ask him to, because he is a living energy. He is a lot like God and Goddess energy in the fact that it is always there for us to kind of use and respect and to honor and to love and to cherish, and they will do the same for us. You know, I feel like it's very much that 50-50 exchange, even with deities and angels and spirit guides and what have you. You know, there is a definite energy exchange that goes on there. You know, and I think that is so beautiful. But Archangel Michael is also going to help you to stand up for yourself, is also going to help you clear your throat chakra, and is also going to help you kind of rely on your spirituality more, rely on your intuition. He is also very much, I see him as orange energy, I see him as red, you know, but some people can also see him as yellow. Yellow energy is very uplifting, it's very bright, it's very bubbly, you know, so it's very warm as well. So make sure that you're staying in these very warm energies, yellow and orange. Oh my goodness. These are going to be very, very uplifting for you. These are going to be very passionate energies as well. I feel like in your aura space, you have a lot of white and a lot of purple, you know, and especially like a lot of like dark indigo. So I feel like you're someone who is very passionate. You're very deep. You're very deep, almost like the depths of the ocean, right? You're very sensitive. You have a lot of emotions to you, even if you might not share it with everyone. But with the Goddess card, this is saying you're someone who's very loyal. You're someone who, you know, is very passionate. See how we have this lady who's playing music here? I think that music is something that's really, really important to you. Maybe you're going to write music-based books, right? But I really feel like music is something that you can kind of go to, you can heal with, you can really just kind of just meditate to music is really kind of the vibe that I'm getting. You know, because this is very calm energy. This is very much working well with others as well. It says, express your divine feminine energy, embracing its magical intuition and nurturing qualities. So here's the thing that I love is that, you know, I feel like maybe you have to balance out both your divine feminine energy, that goddess energy, with your divine masculine energy as well. Because, you know, your divine masculine energy is very much that go, go, go. We're going to accomplish this energy, right? But also your divine feminine energy is that very analytical side. It's very much, well, let me use my intuition, let me feel out, let me just kind of nurture the situation and see how it grows, see where it takes me as well. But divine masculine is very much like, no, we just kind of got to get it done now. We got to get it over with. We got to get it done. So maybe there's a little bit of an imbalance there as well between the two different aspects of yourself. But make sure that you're relying on your femininity as well. You know, you don't have to just kind of be going. You don't have to just be relying on this divine masculine sun energy as well, you know, because that would burn everyone up. I feel like, you know, if we were to look at it as this is the divine masculine and then this is the divine feminine, you know, these divine feminines are bringing a lot of coolness in return to the sun. You know, they're bringing fog up, they're bringing mist, they're bringing happiness, they're bringing love, you know, and they're cooling down that very intense energy, so to speak. So make sure that you're balancing yourself out, you know, make sure that you are focusing on both energies equally. But I definitely feel like your guides as well are saying like, hey, rely on your intuition here, you know, make sure that you're relying on your spiritual side. So going forward onto your next 4 cards, these are going to be your animal messages cards. And these are going over different characteristics, qualities, and traits that you should take into account during this present moment. So we have tiger, ladybug, shark, and also a rattlesnake. rattlesnake. Okay, so here's the deal. With Tiger starting us out, it says you're being called upon to provide leadership. So trust that you're capable of doing that. Okay, so the interesting thing is that, a tiger is a lot like a zebra in the fact that, their stripes are very unique to themselves. It's almost like a fingerprint. And remember how we were saying earlier, about the books leaving sort of like a handprint on humanity? That's very much the tiger as well, is you are very unique. There's only one of you. You are someone who I'd say is kind of like an endangered species, right? There is only one Tishka, just as there is only one me. And I think that is something that it makes us all very, very, awesome, and very useful as well, because we all have a different aspect of what we can provide. And you yourself, you're someone who's very knowledgeable. You're someone who's very compassionate. You're someone who's very open to other ideas as well. So that's why you do research. That's why you do kind of want to share your thoughts and make sure that you're not kind of shying away from being wonderful and like allowing people to really enjoy your presence as well, because you have so much to give. Oh my goodness. I see you as someone who is so loving and someone who is so, you give people the benefit of the doubt, I really feel like, and now is the time to be a little bit more vigilant. Now is the time to really go into that power of saying, hey, I am a leader. I am someone who can get all of this done. I am someone who can accomplish this the first time I'm asked as well. You don't have to fear. Allow yourself to grow into this position, because we do have a lot of plant energy as well, a lot of green energy. This is just saying allow yourself to grow with the position. Time will make you feel a little bit more comfortable as well. So give yourself time. Give yourself the chance to grow into this leadership position. Don't let yourself kind of stray away, I suppose you can say, especially with Ladybug following, because this says this is a time of good fortune and abundance, so be willing to receive all good things in your life. Remember how I was saying that this is like the ultimate, that this is like good news, this is abundance, this is good fortune, this is happiness. Ladybug energy is so potent as well. So when you see some ladybugs, see that as a sign from your past loved ones, and also see that as a sign from the universe and your spirit guide saying that better times are on the horizon. Be willing to kind of take the offers that are given to you as well if you have a really good feeling about them. If you have a passion that you've been really, really wanting to go towards as well, go towards it, because you're going to receive the payback for it. You're going to receive, kind of like what you're due. I feel like you're overdue for this abundance. You're overdue for this good fortune and this happiness. And it's right on the horizon. Oh my goodness. But make sure that you're clearing your throat chakra, because there might be a little bit of times where you're a little bit hesitant about speaking up. Maybe even a little bit hesitant about sharing these ideas to the world in case other people might not like them. My suggestion as well, I know this sounds a little bit silly, but if you are someone who's a little bit nervous about your writing or about your work, go online and start reading some fan fiction, right? Go online and read some like short stories, maybe poems, poetry, whatever you feel really, really drawn to and really compelled to. And you can even start from like a smaller platform. Wattpad is really good. Geez, I think that's all I can think of off the top of my head. I think Archive of Our Own, but that's really only for fandoms and stuff. But, kind of dip your toes in, so to speak, right? See if the water is warm and then jump in, because we have shark energy. It says, trust your instincts to discern the truth of the situation. So here's the deal, with shark energy as well, this is always going forward. This is continuing to move, continuing to grow, continuing to follow your intuition as well with all of these colors that are going on here, right? But with shark energy, this is also like, I'm being drawn to that quote from Brad Pitt where it's like, be like the shark and just keep going forward, keep moving forward, because if you get stagnant, you'll die, not to be blunt, but that's really how the shark is it always has to have that oxygen that's traveling through its gills from the movement. So even while it's sleeping, it's still moving, and even when it's kind of taking small little strides against the current, it's still moving as well. And that's really what your spirit guides want you to know, is that even sometimes the smallest of steps are still going to get us to our ultimate goal. It's going to get us to our destination as well. It might not necessarily be the fastest. It might not be as fast as other people are gaining their goals or gaining their successes as well. But as long as we are being true to ourselves and we're following something that is correct for us, I think that it's going to really manifest into something that's going to flourish and manifest into something that is really going to bring a lot of abundance, a lot of happiness, and a lot of like just wishes fulfilled, I suppose you can say, you know. But it says trust your instincts to discern the truth of the situation. Make sure that you're relying on your intuition here, that people aren't pulling the wool over your eyes, you know, that people aren't kind of a wolf in sheep's clothing, so to speak, right? You know, this could also be a work opportunity that maybe people are going to say that they'll pay you this much, but then you find out that other people that have been working there less longer than you are getting paid more. You know, it's that sort of a feeling, you know, it's kind of like, well, what the heck, you know? So make sure that you're really picking up on vibes on other people. If you feel like someone is going to try to kind of gyp you, I suppose you can say, get out of there, you know, don't worry about it. Don't worry about what they're going to say to you. Don't worry about what they're going to think about you as well. As long as you're protecting yourself and you're continuing going towards a very kind of fruitful outcome as well, you know, I think that everything is going to do just fine. But ending this kind of pile, we have rattlesnake, and I feel like this fits so good. Oh my goodness. Remember how I was saying that you have that healer energy to you? That's where rattlesnake comes in, because you are someone who's intuitive. We have more of that orange energy where it's saying that, you know, you are someone who's very passionate. You're a go-getter at times as well, and that's really what your spirit guides want you to utilize right now. They want you to be a go-getter. They want you to be able to go out and kind of get whatever it is that you really want to achieve, especially with this tiger energy, you know? They go out on the hunt, and then they get their prey and they bring it back, and then they feast. And then that's that. You know, they're very straightforward. They're very to the point. If they're not hungry, then they're just going to go take a nap. They're going to enjoy the day for themselves. You know, and that's very much the same thing for rattlesnake as well. They usually are found under rocks, cooling off in the heat of the day, you know, but then by the time nighttime comes around, or dusk even, they will come out and they will start hunting. They will start finding food, you know, but they take care of themselves, and they know what is a good environment for themselves as well. They know what's going to be conductive for themselves. They know what might be a good career, what might be a good spouse. They know what might be a good hiding place for a house as well, right? But with rattlesnake energy, it says the experiences that you're presently going through are an initiation into fulfilling your purpose as a healer. So how awesome is that, right? And I do want to point out that sometimes healers and intuitives and empaths have some of the hardest life paths. I just want to put that out there, you know? So if you're feeling a little down every now and again, just know that this is all part of your initiation into being a healer. If we didn't experience hardships, how could we then kind of go to other people and say, hey, I understand how that feels? You know, how could we go to other people and then try to uplift them as well if we ourselves have never experienced hardship, if we ourselves have never experienced letdowns as well, you know? It's all part of life, and it's all part of being able to reach other people too. I feel like if you went through a really bad breakup or a really bad situation, maybe channel this into your writing, maybe channel this into your books, or even into your blogs as well. I think that people are really going to enjoy that. I also feel like maybe you have a really good voice, so you'd be really good at like podcasting or something along those lines. I don't know why I just got that, but I feel like maybe in the near future, if that's something that you wanted to do, like broadcasting, I think that you could definitely do it. But I definitely feel like you're someone who's very creative, someone who could definitely put out a lot of ideas with those books. Oh my goodness. So going on to your next 3 cards, these are your Secrets of the Mystic Grove cards, and these are just talking about different energies that your spirit guides want you to take into account during this time. So we have number 27, Unravel, number 20, Look Ahead, and number 42, Direction. Okay, so I love how all of these cards are basically like, I'd say that they're pretty much entwined together, right? But starting off with number 27, Unravel, this is saying puzzle, conundrum, and solution. You know, maybe there's something that you're a little bit hesitant about going towards, maybe about that leadership position, maybe about switching careers, switching partners, something along those lines. But you're trying to find out a solution for yourself. You're trying to unravel it. You're trying to unravel, you know, what your intuition is really going to bring you towards as well. I also want to say that poppies, while they are very beautiful, they are very dangerous to animals. They are very dangerous as well. Like if you were to, I guess, eat too many poppy seeds, right? So I really feel like that's sort of the energy right now, is you feel like everything feels so beautiful, but you also feel like it's so out of reach. You feel like it's kind of dangerous. I suppose you can say, like, dangerous to dream even in a way, because you have so many responsibilities, you have so many things that are kind of buzzing around in your head, but it's almost like, hey, I want to find a solution to this. I want to go kind of look ahead, which kind of brings us into the next card, right? I want to achieve that balance. I want to be a visionary. I want to be someone who can kind of be a trailblazer, someone who can kind of set the way for other people. There we go. Especially with Unravel, we see that she isn't looking at what is currently going on in her hand right now. She's looking off to the side. She's looking off somewhere else. And I feel like that's really the energy, is like, hey, I'd rather be somewhere else right now. I'm not really being fulfilled by where I am right now, by where I am currently as well. I'd rather kind of go towards this alone. I'd rather find that inner knowingness, and I'd rather look ahead. I'd rather plan. I'd rather make some preparations about where it is that I'm going to go, what it is that I'm going to do as well. Remember how I was saying, that you're someone who branches out thoughts and ideas? It's kind of like antlers coming out of his head. Here's an idea, here's one that leads to two thoughts, and so on and so forth. So make sure that you are planning, make sure that you are branching out as well. Make sure that you are kind of, I don't want to necessarily pushing yourself out of, your comfort zone or behind your limit, or like past your limit rather, but I do want to say that if this is something that you've always wanted to do, if you want to travel somewhere, go there, go do it, because we have number 42, direction, which would be 6, which is also, ta-da! So make sure that you're traveling, make sure that you're changing it up, that you're switching it up as well. Navigation, guidance, and signs. 2 cards as well. Actually, 3 cards, because Archangel Michael, the Ascended Masters card, and this all talking about that you are being guided. Actually, look at that. This is also an initiation into being a healer, so that's also kind of being like guided in a sense as well. Oh my gosh, you're being called upon. You're being called upon. So I really feel like, you have a divine, reason for being here, so to speak. You have an energy to you that's going to help a lot of people. Maybe you don't even know it yet. Maybe you're just kind of looking off in the distance and you're like, I'll just kind of see where this takes me. But honestly, you're going to reach out to a lot of people. You're going to help a lot of people inadvertently as well. So make sure that you're looking for signs. Make sure that you're watching for signs as well, that you're keeping up on that. If you're asking your spirit guides for signs as well, make sure that you're taking note of them. Make sure that you aren't just passing them off as coincidence. I also want to say that if things are a little bit cloudy and you don't know where to go, ask Archangel Michael, ask your spirit guides, say, please cut away these clouds and allow me to have clarity. Allow me to see things for how they are. See them as sort of your navigational tool, so to speak, right? But moving forward on to your next 2 cards, these are animal energies that you should take into account during this time. So we have Temperance and Judgment. Okay, so this is flamingo energy and reindeer energy. So to speak, starting off with Judgment, it's almost like you are someone who has been through a lot. You are someone who, you take care of other people. You deliver presents to everyone. Every Christmas, you take care of that. You pull Santa's sleigh, you deliver all of the presents, and what do you get in return? You get maybe a few carrots from a few kids that remember, right? It's that sort of a vibe. What this is saying is that after a long day of work, after even a long night of work, make sure that you're unwrapping your presents. Make sure that you're taking time for yourself. You're taking time for your hobbies, your passions, your happiness. Make sure that you are unwrapping the things in your life that do make you feel happy, that do make you feel satisfied and fulfilled, because this will lead to patience. This will lead to kind of receptivity as well. This will lead to all kinds of things that, maybe before, maybe with this Judgment card, it was kind of like, we have to get this done, we have to get this done. But with the Temperance card, this is saying, well, we can kind of be at a standstill, we can enjoy where we are, we can have that balance, we can have that patience as well. This is also talking about having the stability to just kind of balance there, you're not struggling anymore, you're not worrying about it. Remember how earlier we had that 2 of Pentacles, and it's almost like, I don't want to struggle anymore, I don't want to have to juggle, I don't want to have to balance things. This could also be like work and relationship, family and relationship, family and work, that sort of a vibe. But I really feel like there's going to be a point in time where it's kind of like, I want to say like push comes to shove and everything just sort of evens out, right? Everything is just sort of smooth sailing, but make sure that you're focusing on the blessings that you have in your life. Make sure that you're focusing on your abundance as well, because, in behind the flamingo, we have this beautiful rainbow. So it's really saying that this flamingo has discovered her pot of gold. She's discovered where the end of the rainbow leads, but she's not too stressed about it because who else is looking for it, right? There's no other flamingo that is even a aware that that's where the rainbow ends, you know? So she's just taking her time. She's enjoying her day. And then when she's done, she'll go over and she'll collect her just desserts, so to speak, which is why we have judgment here. You know, you have a lot of blessings that are coming in. You have a lot of gifts that are coming in from the universe as well for working so hard, for putting that intention towards other people as well, for helping other people, for wanting to make the world a better place. You know, I feel like even having that as an affirmation would really, really help. Just saying, universe, how can I make the world a better place? You know, how can I make the universe a better place even? You know, and then the universe is really going to follow suit and really be like, hey, well, here's a position for this. You know, it's that sort of a vibe. But with this, the shadow side energy in reverse, this is really saying we're coming out of a time of, you know, heavier energies. We're coming out of not feeling good about ourselves. We're coming out of feeling less than confidence, right? Because we want to have that confidence. We want to be feeling good about ourselves. We want a new beginning. So yeah, so let's get into the main segment of the reading. Oh my goodness, I already babbled for 53 minutes. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I hope that you've been enjoying it so far. So now we're going to get into this. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to pull these cards to the forefront, and then we'll just kind of take it as they come, because I did pull quite a few clarification cards, so I feel like if I just kind of listed them, it would be a little bit confusing. So let me just move my tripod a little. There we go. Okay, perfect. So starting out, you know, we have the Knight of Wands in reverse, followed by the Ace of Wands, the Magician in reverse. Notice how there's another Magician. Also by the Five of Wands, the Three of Pentacles in reverse, the Star, and the Chariot in reverse. Okay, so here's kind of the energy that's going on, is it's almost like you're making up your mind about a decision. You know, you're kind of like, in the past, you were like, should I stay? Should I go? What should I do? What should I be kind of going towards as well, you know? But now it's kind of like, I know what I should be focusing on. I know what I'm passionate about. I know what I feel really good about. You know, I know what it is that I want in a relationship. I know what it is that I want in career. I know what it is that I want in friendship as well. And especially with this salamander, it's almost like you are achieving those new beginnings. You know, you're going towards things that are new and exciting, but they still feel very familiar to you. There's still something that you yourself are very knowledgeable in. You know, so it's not something that you're going to stress out about too much, because you are very passionate about the subject in general. And I feel like the universe is kind of giving you that fresh new start, right? And it's saying now is the time to go towards the things that you're passionate about, to travel, you know, to be very worldly, to experience new cultures, to be experiencing new experiences, you know? But with the Magician in reverse, it's almost like it's taking a little bit of time. It's a little bit hard to manifest this and to get this going off of the ground. It isn't necessarily saying that you don't have all the resources, because I think you do. I think that you have all the resources that you need, but maybe there's a little bit of a blockage here, you know, maybe not wanting to move on from something or someone. We'll get more into that in a second. You know, but we have the Five of Wands here, and what this really tells me is that, you know, you're fighting against something. The harder that this woman struggles is the tighter that she's bound up in this rope. You know, it's almost like she pulls and it tightens. If she were to just kind of lay like limp on the ground, I suppose you can say, all of her bindings would come so loose that she could just kind of slide right out, right? But with this Five of Wands, it's like she's trying to push forward. She's pushing forward even when she knows she shouldn't be pushing forward, right? So make sure that you are in that, oh, maybe that's why we have that goddess energy coming up, you know? It's like maybe you're relying too much on your masculine side, your divine masculine side. And it's almost like, you know, you're someone who is a go-getter, you're someone who is that kind of leadership role, but make sure that you're also are surrendering to the universe as well. You know, you're not kind of pushing the situation. You're just kind of going with the flow and accepting things for how it is. I also want to say, like, accepting people for how they are as well. But moving on, you know, we have the Three of Pentacles in reverse. So this is kind of saying, hey, I know that there's a lot of work to be done. I don't necessarily know if I want to be putting work into the situation or into something that isn't going to serve me. Maybe that's why the Magician is in reverse here, because it's almost like you have to clear out old patterns, old behaviors, old thoughts as well, which is why we have the shadow side in reverse. Oh my God. And look at what's underneath. The sun. That's awesome. Followed by the Nine of Pentacles. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, wow. wow, wow. Wow. The sun is really, really awesome, awesome, awesome. Oh my goodness, one of the best cards that you can actually get. So I really feel like when you get rid of that sort of devil energy, when you get rid of feeling bad about yourself, looking down on yourself, maybe even feeling like you can achieve these, getting into that inner confidence, because the Nine of Pentacles is all about confidence. She's all about feeling good about herself and feeling good about her craft as well. She is someone who has taught herself to be a falconer. She is someone who has taught herself all of the tricks of the trade. She is someone who is very well studied, someone who's very, very knowledgeable as well. And with the sun here, it's like now is the time to go towards the things that, really made you feel uplifted as a child. Maybe you always wanted to be a paleontologist, right? Now is the time to really start thinking about, do I still want to be a paleontologist? Remember how we had that lover's card earlier where it's like maybe you're daydreaming about something and you're like, do I still want to be doing that? Maybe that's why it's taking a while to manifest, is because maybe you're not necessarily completely on board here, so to speak. Because when I got this Knight of Wands, it didn't come out fully in the reverse. It actually came out like this. But because the reverse side was a little bit up more, I took it as a reverse meaning. But it's almost like you're still a little bit on the fence here. Like, am I making the right decision? Am I making the right decision going towards my passions, going towards the things that I feel like I can really thrive at? Maybe even people like, that old trope where it's like the starving artist, where people are like, oh, you went to art school and blah, blah, blah. It's that sort of a trope to where you're like, I don't even care if this is going to make me a lot of money. I just want to feel good about it. I want to have, even in a partnership, I feel like you want to have something that's going to be worth the effort, worth the work as well. You want something that's going to be very clear, very true. Especially with the star, it's almost like, but you're starting to have hope, which is awesome. But the star followed by the Chariot in reverse. So it's almost like, yeah, this is going to take a little bit, especially with these two cards in reverse. These are two very fast-paced energies, two very kind of on the ball, on the move, So I really feel like with these two energies in reverse, it's really saying, it's going to take a little while, but you're going to achieve a lot of balance from it. And let me tell you why I'm saying that is because the Fool in the upright not the Fool, the Magician in this card, in this deck as well, is really showing all of these women in the background that are looking so hungry, right? And they're looking at him for the wrong reasons. Now, there's one woman who just genuinely is looking at his feet. They're looking at, how good he's dancing and how he can levitate his materials as well. But every other woman is looking at him like licking their lips and going, oh yeah, I want that power all for myself, right? And it's not a good energy we want to be in. So that's why we have it in the reverse, is because you're not dealing with people who are going to be energy vampires anymore. You're only dealing with people who are going to bring that 50-50 to you. Sorry about that. My phone stopped recording. But yeah, you aren't going to be dealing with people who aren't going to have a 50-50 relationship with you, or like even a career dealings, right? A business dealings even. You're not going to deal with people who are going to make you feel stuck or bound. You're not going to feel bound to people. Oh my goodness, because we don't want partnerships like that. We don't want partnerships where we have to feel like we're stuck with this one person like for the rest of our lives, even if they don't fulfill us, right? Or they're not putting in the amount of work that we are. Because the Three of Pentacles is also like, man, I'm the only one who's painting this cathedral. Everyone's just watching me, and it's like I still have the whole rest of the cathedral to work on and I've only done one panel. It's kind of a frustrating energy, so to speak. But with the star, it's like you're gaining hope, you're gaining momentum. It's not a lot of momentum with the Chariot in reverse, but I also feel like with the Chariot in reverse, you're not leaving breadcrumbs to anyone who isn't going to be fulfilling. And, because she's leaving rose petals and she's leaving roses for anyone who really wants to follow her from her old life. She's leaving a doorway open for her to find her way back home, or for anyone from her old home to find her. And with this in the reverse, it's really saying that you're hopeful enough going forward that you don't need anyone who doesn't serve you. You don't need anyone who, doesn't kind of see you in your best interest as well. They don't have your best interest in their heart. This is you not saying, you're very forgiving, but you're not going to kind of let them in again without any reason to. That's what I mean. Yeah. Okay. Geez, sometimes I get these messages in my head and I'm like, how do I put this into words? I have it. But honestly, like, the Chariot in reverse, this is saying, make sure that you're remaining balanced during this time as well. Remaining very hopeful, remaining very positive, very balanced as well. Make sure that you're renewing yourself. Definitely healing yourself as well with that sort of a watery energy. But let's go into clarifications now, because this is where it's really going to heat up and we're really going to find out the juicy details, right? But with the Knight of Wands in reverse, for clarifier as to why, what you're kind of hesitant about leaving or what you're on the fence about, we have the Ten of Swords with the Four of Cups. So what this is really saying is that maybe you felt a little defeated in the past by someone who maybe they didn't accept your cup of love, maybe even vice versa, so maybe you're kind of trying to take yourself away from this person. Oh my goodness. The Knight of Wands is sometimes a fuckboy. Remember how I was talking about fuckboy energy earlier? Maybe this is them. Were you dealing with someone who is a little bit ridiculous? I feel like, someone who is always constantly going only towards passionate endeavors, someone who doesn't want something very serious, someone who doesn't want commitment, is someone who didn't want to accept your cup of love, someone who left you feeling defeated or maybe even kind of backstabbed or betrayed. And maybe it's like you're kind of deciding, well, I think that I'm just going to leave this person. I don't think that they're ever going to be satisfied enough with me, I think would be a good way of saying it. Maybe I'm not even going to be enough is kind of the energy that I have here, which is why we have it with the Ten of Swords. Maybe it's just not feeling enough. But with the Ace of Wands, it's like you want to go towards something that you're very passionate about. You want to go towards something that, you have a good chemistry with. We also have the King of Cups with the Chariot again, so it's almost like you could be dealing with a water sign. You could also be dealing with a Cancer, because the Chariot is definitely Cancer energy, especially with the King of Cups. This is someone who's a little bit moody. This is someone who, they are emotionally mature. They are emotionally stable, but they do express their feelings. They are sensitive, and they are going to be open about it. But I think that that's really what you want to pursue. You want to get away from this energy of being with people who aren't accepting your cup of love, or people who aren't being just receptive, I feel like, or even respectful. Yeah, I feel like maybe even people aren't being necessarily respectful to you in the way that you should be. So it's almost like you're leaving that, and that's why we have the Chariot in the upright here for the Ace of Wands, because it's like you're going towards that very fast, but there's still a little bit of a blockage, because it's still like maybe you're hung up on someone from the past. Maybe there's someone that you still kind of have feelings for, a little bit of longing feelings. Maybe you felt kind of shut out in the cold by someone in the past before. But going forward, you're just kind of like, I'm only accepting people who are going to be emotionally mature, emotionally open, emotionally secure. People who have a good head on their shoulders. That's who I'm really going to be dealing with. I'm not going to be dealing with people who are going to give me all of their problems, and I'm going to be the one that's carrying all of them. I'm going to be the one that's burdened by them. You want to have a very balanced relationship. I know I keep saying that, but I really feel like that's kind of the vibe here, because we have the two horses. We have yin and yang. We have that kind of polarity opposite to them, and I love that. You want to be in a partnership that's going to be kind of like your other half, so to speak, and the same thing with kind of a career. You want to be going towards a career and towards these sort of endeavors that are going to bring you a lot of balance and a lot of stability and a lot of happiness as well, which is why we have so much Wands energy. This is passion. This is straightforward energy, but with the Magician in reverse, why it was in reverse is we got the Five of Pentacles in reverse. So maybe in the past, someone ghosted you, someone left you out in the cold, maybe someone with the Page of Cups and the Wheel of the Year. Maybe you wanted there to be a little bit of a change. Notice how we have that little cup there again. It's almost reminiscent of this Four of Cups, where it's like, please take my cup. Please take my cup. I really like you. And it's kind of like, no, I'm not going to take your cup. But with the Wheel of the Year, it's almost like there needs to be a change here. You can't be feeling like that forever, which is why the Five of Pentacles is in the reverse. You're coming out of feeling shut out in the cold. You're coming out of feeling isolated. You're coming out of feeling like, nothing could ever come of, any situation for you, right? Because the Five of Pentacles can feel a little bit hopeless, and which is why we have the Star later on, because you're renewing yourself. You're getting that hope back slowly but surely, right? And it is so awesome, which is why we have the Page of Cups here. It's like little steps. It might not be a lot, but it's something. It's almost like the universe is handing you this cup and saying, you could turn this cup into something phenomenal. You could take this fish out and put it into an aquarium. You could let it out, or you could keep it for yourself, and they're saying, while you have that aquarium, then you can also clean the cup out, and then you can drink out of the cup yourself, so you can make it into something that's very beautiful. You can turn it into something that's very tangible. You can turn it into something that will fit you a lot better as well, with the Wheel of the Year, I also do want to say that people are sometimes only seasons in our lives. Even if we wanted them to be very secure in our life or something that, was kind of a universal constant, sometimes the only constant in our life will be change. And I don't want to come off as blunt, but especially with it being, one of your life path numbers, I really feel like change is going to be something that is inevitable. Change is something that, it happens for us to better ourselves and to kind of go towards better outcomes as well, because we have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse with the Lovers, as to why we have this Five of Wands here, why you're feeling stuck. What are you feeling stuck over? The Lovers. You're feeling stuck over maybe a partnership, maybe something that you felt was very divine, something that you felt was very cut out for you. This could have been a job that you felt was going to be something that you do for the rest of your lifetime, right? Maybe even just a partner that you thought, hey, I'm going to marry this person. I'm going to have a partnership with this person. We're going to be that power couple. We're going to make money together. We're going to thrive. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. But at the end of the day, it's almost like there was a little bit of a change here. And maybe you had to really understand that, maybe if this is pertaining to a partnership, that this person was only offering you small potatoes, right? Or maybe they weren't offering you anything at all with the Five of Pentacles in reverse, and maybe that's why with the Chariot, you had to move forward. You had to move on because you weren't being fulfilled with the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. This isn't something that's going to bring you stability. This isn't something that's going to bring you comfort or something that's going to be financially abundant either if you stay maybe with this person who doesn't serve you, or if you stay stuck in the situation, because with that shadow side in reverse, this can also just be feeling like we ourselves are not enough, feeling like we aren't good enough, which kind of brings me back to that energy in the beginning, but how awesome to go from a Ten of Swords all the way to a Star energy. This is really kind of becoming that Phoenix energy, rising from the ashes, rising and becoming the flame, right? But going on to the Three of Pentacles in reverse, we have the High Priestess in reverse with the Ace of Swords in reverse as well. So it's almost like, you're not relying on your intuition as much as you should, but there's also there's been secrets that have come to light. Oh my goodness, maybe the secrets is why you don't necessarily want to continue working on this relationship or working on this, maybe this endeavor as well. Because some truth came out, and I feel like maybe with the Ace of Swords in reverse, maybe for a while you were kind of ignoring it. Maybe you were kind of putting it aside, pushing it away and saying, no, it's okay. I'll just kind of deal with it at a later date, but now it's a later date. And it's almost like you have to really rely on your intuition. You have to rely on something, that's really going to make sense, that's really going to be very stable for you. There we go, make sense in the way that it just comes naturally for you. It's not going to be something that doesn't come organically to where you're constantly, or someone else is constantly saying, hey, please accept my cup of love, please accept my offer, please accept my job opportunity, So I really feel like make sure that you're being very honest and upfront with yourself, being very truthful as well, because with this hope, with this star card, with this renewal as well, this is really saying that we have the Three of Pentacles next. And I love the Three of Pentacles. Oh my goodness, because this is talking about collaborations. This is talking about focusing on your studies, focusing on your hobbies, your endeavors, your career. This is focusing on everything, right? This is focusing on your own stability, on your own happiness, and on bringing in your own Ten of Pentacles. Because maybe in the past with the Ten of Pentacles in reverse with the Lovers, maybe it was trying to make a Ten of Pentacles with someone, who you weren't supposed to have a Ten of Pentacles with, because you're supposed to make your Ten of Pentacles. You're supposed to work on it yourself. You're supposed to kind of focus on your studies, focus on the things that make you feel really good as well, right? But going to the last card for the Chariot in reverse, we have the Moon card with the Nine of Swords. So what this is really saying, remember how I was saying wolf in sheep's clothing? That's what I really see in this card, because this woman isn't aware of the wolves that are behind her. She doesn't see these three wolves. She can only see what is lit by her lantern and what is also lit by the moonlight as well. So she's relying completely on her intuition. Now, let me tell you something, when you're relying on your intuition, it isn't always going to be pretty. It's going to feel like it's nighttime and you're going to have to try to get night vision goggles, right? But with the Nine of Swords, this is really talking about, if you are someone who has been feeling a little bit stressed about following your intuition or about knowing what the right path is, really trust yourself, trust your dreams as well. Start interpreting your dreams, start looking at the meanings. I also feel like moon magic is going to be really important to you. I know at the beginning of the reading, we started off talking about the new moon magic, so I feel like maybe incorporating your own magic and your own intentions into the moon cycles is really going to be something that helps a lot with bringing your goals in faster, with bringing them into fruition as well, and bringing you out of this sleepless cycle, because I feel like you've been having a lot of sleepless nights over whatever this is, regardless of if it's career or romantic. I feel like you've been like losing a lot of sleep, and that feeling where you're putting one hand and one foot out, and you're kind of trying to stay cool because you're overheating, you're sweating, you're having kind of like a heat flash. It's that sort of a feeling. Oh my goodness, I hate that at night, when you're trying to sleep, but you're so warm. So you're like, well, an arm and a leg sticking out is going to be perfect, but it's almost like you're one foot in and one foot out. You want to get away from these really heavier energies. You want to get away from energies that, are really going to bring you down as well, but it's almost like maybe you don't even necessarily know how to get out of them, but that's where your intuition is really going to come into play. Is there something that has really been nagging at you? Is there something that you've been feeling like would be a good outcome to the situation? If you have, then definitely go towards that, go towards anything that you really feel called towards as well, is really what I'm feeling drawn to say. So moving forward onto this next row of cards, this is going to be near future energy, since we just went over current. So we have the World followed by the Seven of Pentacles in reverse as clarifier. So here's the deal, starting off with the World for the near future, it's almost like you're going to have a big change. There's going to be a big abundant change. You're just throwing cares to the wind. You're feeling renewed. You're feeling very, very good about yourself. You're feeling like you can achieve anything. Do you see how uplifting this is? And it's finally daytime. Oh my goodness, look at that. I love how where we leave off, it's all nighttime, and then it goes to daytime. Even the Chariot is at night. Look at that. And the Three of Pentacles and the Star, everything was at night, and then in the near future, everything is daytime. It's almost like everything is cleared up. Those clouds have dissipated, and you can finally see everything for how it is. This is feeling like you have the whole world in your hands, feeling like you can celebrate, feeling like, woohoo, life is one big party, right? I have everything that I need in life. But with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, it's almost saying, make sure that you are planting the seeds of intention, though. Make sure that you're putting energy into things that you want to grow and that you want to manifest as well, that you want to kind of bring a bigger abundance towards as well. Because with the Seven of Pentacles, this can talk about, we reap what we sow. The energy that we put in today is what we get out tomorrow. So make sure that if you do want to go towards something, or you do want to go towards a new beginning, that you're going towards it wholeheartedly, like 100% in. It's almost like ride or die, all or nothing, that sort of a vibe. Like, just go for it. Don't feel scared. Don't feel less than confident as well. Feel very confident in yourself. Feel very proud of yourself as well. We also have the Emperor in reverse, followed by the Seven of Cups in reverse. Now, these two cards, I also got for the Seven of Cups in reverse, the Sun in reverse, the Five of Swords, and the Page of Cups. Okay, so here's the deal. It's almost like maybe there's still going to be someone in your life that's going to be a little bit stubborn, a little bit hard-headed. Hey, maybe this is even you. No shame. This is just saying maybe focus on not being a little bit too unbudgeable, because the Emperor can almost feel like a mountain, an unmovable mountain, right? Someone who is in that energy of, I'm right, I know what I want, and I'm not going to let it stray from this. Sometimes when we can even kind of map plans for ourselves, or we can go through preparation, we can say, okay, well, I'm going to arrive at Disney World at 7:15, then I'm going to be going on the Dumbo ride at 8 o'clock exactly. Then by 8:15, I'll be going over to Winnie the Pooh land. It's like, you have to be realistic. Not everything can have like the time frames, I suppose you can say. So don't stress yourself out too much about time frames or anything along those lines, because time is a man-made concept. We can always make it up at a later date as well, because you see how this in the Seven of Cups, he has this kind of time thing. It's the sands of time. I'm having a complete brain fart on that. You're probably like, oh my goodness, it's an hourglass. There we go. Ah, yes, thank you. Thank you, future Tishka. But honestly, the Seven of Cups, this is saying you're coming out of feeling confused. You're coming out of feeling stubborn as well. Oh my goodness, that's awesome. This might even be saying that you're coming out of feeling stuck on someone who was very stubborn. This might have been that person who was stubborn and didn't want to kind of accept your cup of love, or kind of want to accept what you were giving them. Because we also have, it's like you're making the decision finally. And what's the decision? You're getting away from the sun in the reverse energy, because you want the sun in the upright. You want a partnership that's going to be very close. Do you see how they're just kind of holding each other in the morning sun? This is very much that sort of energy where it's like we just enjoy each other's company. We enjoy being together. We're enjoying the morning, But with the Five of Swords, this is some head games. This is some trickery. This is some foolery. This is some ridiculousness. I guess would be the best way to say it. And you're moving away from that. You're moving away from it, and you're moving towards, look, another Page of Cups. Oh my goodness. Maybe someone's going to be giving you a romantic offer, but I feel like you're kind of finally taking that cup for yourself. Oh, yes. Okay. Here's the story I just picked up on. You offered someone a cup, okay? Regardless. Then, maybe they were like, no, I don't want your cup. It has a fish in it, right? So later on, in the near future, you're taking that cup back. You're like, oh yeah? You want to tell everyone that my cup has a fish in it? I'll take my cup back and I'll remove the fish. And you'll see that this is just as drinkable a cup as any other cup. It's that sort of a vibe, It's taking care of yourself, sticking up for yourself, going towards something that is going to emotionally fulfill you a lot more as well. Especially with the Five of Cups and the Ace of Rods in reverse, this is saying I'm not going towards a partnership that is going to just be based on passion as well. It's almost like you go from being very passionate about this circumstance to being like, maybe even in the future there's going to be a feeling of having like a little bit of lackluster towards your goals and towards my hand is itching, so I feel like there's going to be money coming in for sure for you. But I feel like maybe even people are going to talk in the near future, and that's what's really going to make you feel a little bit down. Maybe you're going to be focusing on what's overturned, and maybe, it's kind of like we still have all of this good stuff going on in the background, even if we can't go towards this, maybe this relationship that we wanted to go towards, whatever it is. Maybe you're kind of finding out or deciding that what you were originally passionate about, is something that maybe you're not necessarily as passionate about as you thought. It's kind of like that vibe of maybe we got into a genre for a significant other, and then we found out like, hey, I don't even like rugby, right? It's that sort of, you just wake up one day and you're like, I didn't even like rugby. Why did I watch that for Arnold all those years, right? It's sort of a vibe. But honestly, this is just saying go towards the things that you will still feel hope about, because there will be a little bit of a disappointment. And I think maybe it's just because, you aren't going to be where exactly you wanted to be. But I think that is so normal. And I think that's kind of where people get hung up, as we say, well, I'm nowhere near where I want to be. I'm nowhere near my goal or my end point, and that is just so awesome, because that means that you have so much more journey ahead of you. You have so much more lessons, so many more experiences as well. We have the Three of Swords again, followed by the Eight of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles. So it's almost like instead of focusing on the heartbreak, you're going to be focusing on yourself. You're focusing on your studies. You're focusing on your career. You're focusing on your abundance. Like I said, you're making the Ten of Pentacles for yourself. That's the reason why, is because you're supposed to have this abundance, not necessarily by yourself, but I feel like, then you can kind of choose who it is that you really want to go towards. But with the, oh my goodness, notice this, the Ace of Rods in reverse to the Page of Pentacles. This is something that's more stable. This is something that's more solid, something that's going to last the test of time, whereas Ace of Rods is just something that you go off of on a whim. Something that you're just kind of going towards for the moment and to kind of feel good as well. So you're going towards something that's going to last a little bit longer, which is why we have the High Priestess, which is a 2, and the Ten of Cups in reverse. Maybe it's like now is not the time to be settling down, with the Ten of Cups in the near future. If you feel like you haven't met that person who reaches that Ten of Cups, if you feel like you haven't met someone who literally makes you feel like you could throw 10 cups in the air and sing, then I don't know what to say. Use your intuition here. I really feel like this person, and this job or whatever it is that you're really lacking here is really going to be coming in the distant future, because we have the Ten of Pentacles in the upright, right? So it's really saying that, sometimes we just have to listen to ourselves, and sometimes we have to trust that the opportunities and the situations that are taken out of our lives, sometimes this can also be referred to people as well, that the people that are taken out of our lives is kind of a blessing from the universe in disguise. Maybe it's saving us from a worse situation. Maybe it's saving us from something that we shouldn't have been in to begin with, so it's kind of like, You know, maybe you're feeling a little bit frustrated because your Ten of Cups is in here. You're not feeling emotionally stable. You're not feeling, not necessarily emotionally stable, but like you're not feeling like you have a firm like footing in your emotions as well. Make sure that you're relying on your intuition. This could also just be saying that, you know, more secrets might be still coming out, you know, or something along those lines. But I feel like you're going to have a lot of happiness here, you know, especially with the near future energies being the Knight of Swords, the Queen of Wands, the Princess of Wands, the Princess of Cups as well. You know, we have the Ten of Pentacles. Here's the Princess of Cups. There she is. We also have, can you see how many court cards we have? We have 4 court cards right off the bat. And honestly, this signifies change. This is divine change. This is good change as well. This is change that we want to implement in our life. Oh my goodness. You know, after that, we also have the Nine of Pentacles followed by the Ace of Swords. You know, you're going to have that Nine of Pentacles, that wish fulfillment, that very stable financial abundance as soon as you're very clear about what it is that you really want to pursue, what it is that you feel really good about. You know, meditate. You see how he's meditating to really come up to a really balanced decision, a really educated, kind of mindful decision as well as to where he really wants to be. And I feel like that's really kind of what you're going to be doing in the future, is that you have that clarity. You know, you've taken that sword and you've cut through all of the clouds, you've cut through all the drama, and you're like, I'm only focusing on the Nine of Pentacles. You know that song from Panic at the Disco? Excuse my language, where it's like, fuck a silver lining, 'cause only gold is hot enough, right? You know, but it's all about like not settling for less because you deserve more, you know, not settling for something just because it's good, because you can have great, you can have the best, you can have everything that your heart desires. So make sure that you aren't settling, especially in relationships, especially in career as well. If this is something that you're going to wake up every day, you know, and have that end of the cycle with it, because look, a 9 and a 1, that's a 10. You know, that's talking about, hey, you're going to have that end of the cycle. You're going to have that 10 that finally brings everything to closing. And, you know, it's almost like the symbol of Ouroboros, where everything has a return, you know, of that snake that is eating its own tail. It's very much saying that everything has a return, everything gets sorted out, and everything comes to fruition in its own time. So even if it doesn't make sense necessarily right now, in the future, at a later date, it will. You know, I had a reading from, I just want to throw this in, you know, I had a reading from a medium one time, and the things that he predicted for me, he said, you are going to find your life path in a year. And I like looked at him like, a year? So anyway, you know, meanwhile, going through this for a year, and meanwhile, 4 years later, finally found it. You know, I think that there is no time limits. I think it's just whenever it kind of comes into your life. So see it as that, you know, as that there is no time limit, you know, because I want to write back to him, you know, at a later date and be like, hey, it's finally almost 5 years later, and here we are. You know, but it's that sort of a feeling of time is very malleable, and time is always there. Time is, you know, something that will always be there for us. So make sure that you're focusing your time on something that is good, you know, especially since we do have a limited amount of time on this planet and on this earth. Make sure that you're doing it very happily. You're doing it kind of going towards your goals, your achievements, your happiness, you know, going very fast towards your goals as well, because the Knight of Swords is very straightforward, very to the point. Notice how we have 2 swords here, you know? It's very much cutting through drama. It's very much being clear with people, being honest, being truthful, being very, very forthcoming as well. If someone is coming to you and saying, hey, I don't want a relationship, I want something that's just going to be like a friends with benefits sort of a situation, you know, if that's something that you don't want, if that's something that isn't going to like kind of fit in with your life path at that time, you're going to come in and say, okay, well, I'll see you later then, bye. You know, it's that sort of an energy of, you know, you're going to stand up for yourself. You're going to speak up your mind as well with the Queen of Wands. She's an entrepreneur. She's someone who can take care of themselves. She's someone who's nurturing. She's motherly. She's mature. She takes care of herself. I keep saying that, but honestly, that's the vibe that I get. She doesn't have to rely on other people. She doesn't have to rely on a partnership as well. She's very much like the 8 of Pentacles and the 9 of Pentacles combined. You know, she takes care of herself. She takes care of her needs. She takes care of the things that she feels really accomplished in. Because, like, look at this 9 of Pentacles here, you know? It's someone who's very, very confident in themselves. It's someone who can achieve anything that they really want, you know? And that's really the energy that I'm getting with you is that you are someone who is very straightforward in the distant future, and you're someone who is definitely an entrepreneur. You are definitely kind of capable of making your own income, which I think is going to be something that you really love, which is why we have another 10 of Pentacles here. This is just saying that you are someone who's going to scout out something that's going to be very useful for you. You are going to be someone who you're very, very smart, so you can come up with ideas all the time. You might be the type of person who comes up with gadgets. Maybe you're the type of person who you write a really, really best-selling book, right? If you do, can I please buy some of the copies from you? I'll buy your books. Oh my gosh, immediately, right? I'll be your number one fan. But honestly, you're going to be going towards your hobbies, your passions, your everything that just makes you feel fruitful is really what I'm getting. And there's going to be messages coming in, with these two pigeons here. It's almost like the Princess of Chalices, she's always open. She's always open to communication, and that's why it's coming in for her as well, because she's done the work as the Princess of Wands. She's taken the time for herself. She's written the letters, maybe even writing to other people and saying, hey, this is how I feel. You could even be writing to jobs and putting in job resumes. Oh, maybe that's what you'll be doing in the near future. And that's why you get to the 10 of Pentacles, is because you finally hear back from something or someone, that's really going to be successful for you, something that's really going to pan out, something that's really going to bring a lot of abundance in as well. Oh my goodness. So I definitely feel like there's nothing to worry about, because we also have another Wheel of Fortune down here for your finishing messages from your spirit guides, and from your past loved ones, ancestors, really anyone who wanted to step in and give some closing, finishing messages. They were really encouraged to do so. But with the number 10, again, this is saying you're going to come to the end of your cycle. You're going to find that abundance, that happiness. And with there being peacocks here, it's almost like allow yourself to shine, allow yourself to be acknowledged, allow yourself to be loved as well, because you are someone who a lot of people are going to admire, a lot of people are going to look up to you. And we have a horse down here at the bottom of the card as well, which really signifies feeling dedicated, feeling determined, feeling very passionate towards your goals, almost like this Knight of Swords energy where you're just kind of gonna go. It's almost like right out the gate, you're just like, right, right towards your goals, because you know what it is that you want. You're very dedicated, you're very determined, and you have your mind made up. I feel like at the beginning of the spread, it's a little bit of indecisiveness. And now it's like, I know where it is that I want to go because I'm looking off into the horizon. But do you see all these birds there? It's almost like there's a lot of communication that's going to be coming in, but you're only going to humor 2 of them. There's only going to be, maybe you're going to have a lot of suitors, a lot of job offers, what have you. But at the end of the day, I really feel like you're only going to accept the ones that are really good for you. You're not going to accept things that are based off of deceit, treachery, based off of also low self-confidence, anything along those lines. You're going to be kind of vibrating at a very high vibration, a very high frequency as well. Even if this means kind of turning inward with the Hermit energy, this is kind of being alone sometimes, spending time by yourself, kind of achieving your own goals by yourself as well, which is very much that Nine of Pentacles energy, which we keep getting in this reading. Oh my goodness, this is feeling good about yourself, putting the work in, putting the effort in as well, and it's going to pay off, but don't humor people who are abundant in trickery is really what I'm kind of feeling here. Don't, humor people who are going to be wearing a mask and who are only going to be kind of giving you the runaround here, because with the Four of Pentacles, it's almost like you'd be better off secluding yourself. You'd be better off focusing on your own endeavors, creating your own stability, creating your own happiness, building your own house, so to speak, right? Because with the Ten of Wands, it's like this is a card of oppression. This is a card of, opposition as well. This is people kind of trying to bring you down, people trying to bring you back to their level, right? This is also like the finalizing thing after the Nine of Swords, the finishing blow, so to speak, right? The straw that broke the camel's back. With the Ten of Wands, it's almost like, you have all of your own burdens. You have all of your own emotional things that you really have to deal with. This. And look what just fell on the ground when I was saying that is the shadow side in reverse. You have your own worries as well that you really have to take care of. So other people giving you their worries, their concerns and stuff, it's okay to be a good friend. It's okay to extend a helping hand to other people. But when it's really inconveniencing you or it's really kind of draining your own cup, take a step back for yourself. Take a step back and have that strength for yourself. Go into that Queen of Wands energy very fast. Because look, we have another Chariot, and with the number 7, I want to bring up, this is very much that energy of having that change of the 5, but then having the 2 left over and deciding, am I going to continue going the way that I am, or am I going to start going on a different path? And I think that that's really where you're kind of headed, is you're going to kind of going towards a new path, a new direction, maybe even a new person, right? But very fast, very excitedly, and very much in this confident Queen of Wands energy, that entrepreneurship energy, that strong woman energy. But the Strength card also represents being able to be vulnerable, being able to show people your emotions, being able to open up to people as well. You know, so I really want to say, like, be honest, be open, take things one step at a time, seeing as it's a 7 to an 8. You know, make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Make sure that you're metamorphosizing into that butterfly as well, because we have a lot of butterfly symbolism. Oh my goodness. You know, I feel like spring is going to be a really conductive time of year as well, you know, whether it be this spring or even next spring, you know, because we have a lot of, like, bug energy. We have ladybug, we have butterflies, you know, we have all of this really, really awesome bug energy. You know, bugs are very hard workers. They're very empathetic. They're very smart, very intuitive as well. So yeah, but make sure that you're relying on your strength. Make sure that you're relying on your own inner knowledge as well, you know, and on your confidence. Feel really good about yourself, because you have a lot of really, really wonderful qualities to feel very, very proud about. Oh my goodness. You know, I can't stress this enough. So yeah, make sure that you're kind of going into that self-love and self-care routine as well. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this, Tishka. Thank you so much again for ordering this reading from me. Oh my goodness, I had so much fun, and I hope that I have the opportunity to read for you again in the future. Just kind of go with the flow and know that the change is coming. You know, you're almost at the end of your cycle soon, and then you can start off a new one and another new one. But it's going to be very fulfilling and very exciting as well. But yeah, I hope to talk to you soon. Definitely let me know if this resonated, and yeah, I will talk to you soon. Bye!